Well then, it's time.
It's gonna be May. See, I'm not a singer though, folks. So you know this, but it's May, right? Tax season's over. Business owners, we've gone through Q1. We're almost done with or we're getting through Q2. We have tariffs going on. We've got a war going on. We've got kids getting out of school, graduations. There's a lot of things that are hitting us all at once. I know you have things in your life going on. I've got my things. Dr. Cherry, our boy Dr. Cherry, has things going on too. But have you ever sat down to just think about them? How you relate to them? What actually is something in your life that you can control? And I couldn't think of a better person than Dr. Cherry to come on and talk us through his journey a little bit, but also just hit us with some cold hard facts. If you guys don't follow his content, which by now you do, we speak the same language. We speak it a little differently. And we want to get through to you because things are tough. We all know that. But you're not alone in the situations. And so we wanted to make sure that we hit upon that. So, Dr. Cherry, welcome back, brother. I know it's been a while. I know you getting back in the booth and everything, but we're glad to have you back.
Man, Stoy, I really appreciate the outreach, man. This is going to be a special topic. So, man, let's get into it, brother.
Yeah. So, first-gen wealth builders, business owners, those who have created something that maybe they've never seen or done before. I want to start with the whole topic of like, what is financial wellness, and is it or is it not separate than mental wellness?
Well, we were just talking in the green room just a minute ago. Generations have their own set of events and trials that they go through, and first generation business owners, they're probably in their late 20s, early 30s. You have mature business owners, Gen X, they're going through a lot right now. But the common theme is if you're a first business generation owner, then you, no matter what generation you're from, Stoy, you're experiencing ebbs and flows for the first time. And not only it's important to know what stage that you're in, maybe 1 through 3, 3 to 7, or 7 to 10. Those are the years, right? That stage is very important. And how many events, social, economic, global, household events, how many of those have you ebb and flowed, and at what stage is very important there. And then what are you dealing with? Not just the cash flow that may be coming in or not be coming in, but how is your, like you mentioned, how is the wellness inside the home? And I'll touch on the financial wellness here in a minute, but I think those are the key elements there: cash flow, house flow, heart flow, and where you are as far as your ebbs and flows of events that you're dealing with externally.
I couldn't agree more, and we'll get on the financial wellness side of it. But it's so important to grasp what the mental side means. And I know a lot of people hear that, although it's getting better nowadays. But like, hey, I don't need to see a therapist. I'm good, right? We got generations that wouldn't see a therapist if anything happened to them, right? It's just not going to be a thing. But I think it's less now that people are understanding that, like, my money, my financial wellness, my physical wellness, my mental wellness, my ability just to be an adult and a human, they're all kind of the same. They're all like really tight knit. It's not like, hey, I'll deal with my mental side later. I got to focus on business and stuff. That to me, that's wrong, because not focusing and helping this is going to hurt that. And then now what spiral you into? And so I think it's very interesting that topic is now becoming one. Financial wellness, mental wellness, we're all together in that, because money is so intertwined with what we do, both mentally, physically, everything, that I think it's something that we can't abide by. We can't forget about at all.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Financial wellness is a continuum, Stoy. And so you have the mind and the heart on the continuum, and you have money and meaning in the continuum of financial wellness. Financial wellness is about the confidence that you have in managing your finances in a way that helps you achieve the life that you want. So the word is confidence, and then secure the life that you want. So how there's a couple of things in there, experience and value systems, beliefs around money, how you're making your decisions as a household, and how confident do you feel in them. Have you looked at or just sat down to take an honest account of the aspirational life that you want to live now and later? It doesn't even have to be like this dream pie in the sky type of stuff. So, it can be, hey, I want to take a couple of vacations a year. I want to, perhaps if you got a little money in your pocket, maybe I want a second home, whatever that is. The confidence you have to manage your finances in a way that helps you secure the life that you want. And the life that you want is different for each household. So it's so unique, like a fingerprint. So there's no use looking left or right and seeing what Susie Joe is doing or John Doe is doing. I mean, it's what we doing. That's not you. So what is it on a piece of paper? You and your household. What's important to you? How do you want to go about securing it, and what confidence you have? And I'll say this lastly, which is what I said about the heart and the mind. If people are not being understood, Stoy, then the mind is not going to open up. So you have to open up the heart first. And then once you open up the heart, then you can open up the mind, because somebody feels valued, they feel understood. It's like, oh man, I got to tell my story. Thank you for listening. Appreciate you. This is where I'm coming from. And now I'm open to suggestion. And then that kicks off the decision mechanism and the stick-to-itiveness and the commitment that is necessary in order to have that confidence and that security.
How do you help people through those conversations, right? I mean, you listed off a lot. I think the important piece I want to hit upon a little more was, how do you want to live your life, right? Like, I think we get stuck in, some people, I won't say everybody, we get stuck in like, hey, this is my business, this is what I do, this is where I'm at, this is me, right? But I don't think a lot of people have done the exercise to know, like, who are you and what do you want? Just because you do this right now, or you live this way, or you grew up this way, that doesn't necessarily mean it's you. Can you talk through maybe some things that you've done, or you talk to your clients about, of like figuring out who they are so they can translate all of this to things that they actually want to get done, and not just what mom and pop said or what society's told them to do, but like truly live their life? Because if I wanted to move to Hawaii because I wanted to, I'm gonna go do it because that's me. Not, I need to stay here because this is what I was told.
Yeah, right. Well, funny you should say things that have always been done, so we need to continue to do them that way. In some cases, yes, like a black suit, black tie, white shirt. That's classic. I mean, you can go to call that casket clean. You're never going to outlive the casket clean suit. You can wear that anywhere, right? And then you have things that maybe need to change. And there was one time when my dad is from the country and he likes to put syrup on biscuits. And my mom wanted us to cut out on sugar, right? And so they had to make this decision early. And my dad was like, "Go ahead and put some sugar on the biscuits," right? And I'm 47. I still like sugar on the biscuits. I can do a little bit on my weight. But the point is just because syrup was done in the country doesn't mean that you got to continue that that tradition or that culture or that value all the way through to the next generation. Gen X, we were raised on sugar, and so now the next generation, I have a 2-year-old son and then my 19-year-old niece. They're not neither one of those are sugar generation. So the point is some things are you carry forward with your belief system and your experiences and your values with money, and then there's some things that you work on because they may serve as a barrier. And we have to do something differently, and doing more of the same is all that's going to do is harm. But to your point, when you have discussions with people, they have to be affirmed of where they are, because it takes courage in order to come out and say, well, this is how we did it, in our household, or this is my experience, this is my lens, this is my story. And I've had several conversations over the years, but a couple here recently just point out. But the model is still the same. It's called the honest self-audit. And ironically, we have the as of this recording, the Michael Jackson movie just came out, and one of the timeless songs, "Man in the Mirror," So person in the mirror, if you want to say it like that, but man in the mirror, what are you going to do to affect change within yourself? Take personal agency. And the model that I'm talking about, I don't necessarily speak with my clients and say, okay, here's step one, right? No, but this is the journey. The honest self audit is admit where you are. Admit where you are. It's like, hey, I feel stuck. I may be a little bit confused. And it's going to be in any, on alongside the income spectrum. But for business owners, like, hey, there's a special kind of loneliness of being a business owner. You're trying to be the breadwinner for your family and your business. You're trying to make it through that first stage. And if you're in the middle stages, then you have to deal with ebbs and flows. So where are you? That takes a lot of courage to be the person in the mirror and say, you know what, this is where I am right now. And this is where I don't want to be. This is where I want to do better. And that takes courage. Number two is acknowledge really how you feel about that. Is there guilt? Is there shame? Is there anger? Is there frustration? Is there hell? You want to cry? I mean, a cry is a good rinsing of the soul. It's underrated, matter of fact. And do you want to be still? Do you want to, do you have someone to talk to that you blame? How do you feel about this? So acknowledge how you feel about it, because then you have to process that feeling, and then it's cleaning the palate. Story, you cleaning the palate. So then you have a fresh mouth, you have a fresh spirit, and you can say, okay, now I can take the action. That's the 3 steps. It's like, okay, now I'm ready because I've been through the steps, and now I have the capacity to go do what I need to do next.
It's beautiful. Well, Dr. Cherry, now we're getting to our noise versus truth segment. And this one's fun. We pull things from the internet, the interwebs, and we get to tell you and ask you, is this noise? Is this truth? And get a little feedback from you on that. So the first one, noise. Let's think through this one. Stress about money means you're not managing it well.
Yeah, that's noise right there. I mean, there's not enough content. There's plenty of content out, written and on video out there, but there ain't no damn context out here. So it's a decent statement, but then there's a lot of assumptions in that thing too, right? Just because you have money challenges or money uncertainty, okay, that doesn't mean you're mismanaging money. That means you're not out there making it rain, doing a Luda style at the club. That doesn't mean that. It can mean that I'm uncertain about where the direction of the world is going and how that's going to affect the income in my business. I'm stressed about the ebbs and flows quarter by quarter in my business, depending on what sector you are and how the domestic and the global economy is affecting my business. How's that going to affect my household? So that's 2 things, my household or the business and the household together, because one is funding the other. So that's a form of stress. And it's different from stress is different from guilt and shame. Shame is I'm a bad person. I'm doing these things because there's something, there's a character flaw in me, and there's something I did in order to cause something. Guilt is I did something. It was either because I did something, or something did something to me, or there's a pattern of shortcomings that decisions that really there's regret inside of guilt, right? And so stress, guilt, and shame are all different things. And then also you could have external in all 3 of those, or internal. So we don't know which one that is. We can't readily assume. I know you have another one here, but you can't readily assume, this is why it's noise, that somebody has a financial defect in management because they have stress, because stress is so broad.
And let's be real, folks. I have not met one business owner in my entire 15-year career that hasn't been stressed about money because of the things you laid out, whether that's internal, external, global, not global. There's too many to that. So if you see that, or someone says that, well, you must not be managing your money well, you go ahead and walk away from that one. That's not the truth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's some. Well, I wish we had a button that said, that's some bull.
Might have to get one of them.
Right, right.
So this statement, this fact, this truth comes from an article with Bankrate in regards to how Americans feel about their finances in 2026. So here's the quote: "Financial anxiety is documented at epidemic levels across income brackets." Again, across income brackets. I didn't say one. I said across them all. 32% of Americans think their finances will worsen in 2026, which is the highest pessimism it's ever been since 2018. What does that truth say to you? Like, what is that when you hear that stat? What does that come out of you with?
Yeah, that's definitely not noise. Actually, that's not noise. That's a good stat right there. There's a lot of pressures out here, Stoy, that are real talk. Like you said, across income statuses. Obviously, at the lower ends of income, there's a lot more challenges because there's no space, there's no capacity. You got limited amount of income and so many responsibilities to make. So that's a whole nother story at that type of income level. Let's talk about the middle class and the upper middle class, and even some high income folks, right? Well, then upper middle class and little rich folks. Listen, right now, there's a lot of uncertainty going on. I mean, when we talk about leadership, institutional governance at the government level, institutional governance and leadership at the corporate level, right? We're reading stuff every other day about some uncertainty. It was like, hold on, now, didn't you just tweet about this stuff? I mean, what the hell? It's like, let me get a week. Let me
Right.
get a month. Let me get something right here so I can have some sort of certainty of direction of what's happening outside my home in order to get some clarity of what's going inside my home. Yeah, yeah. House prices are high at all levels. Supply is low. Food. I mean, making food choices. Even rich folks are like, uh, maybe I may not have so many steaks this year or something like that. Maybe I swap out some chicken. That's old school economic supply and demand. With the switcheroo, right? Or the complementary items. So people are making choices. High income folks are traveling less. They're still traveling, but they're traveling less, and some of them may even back up a class. They're like, maybe that Delta One, I don't need that 10,000 John. Maybe I'll go to Delta Comfort Plus, right? So there's a lot of school prices are high, taxes, insurances are going up as far as your local economies are concerned. Those are going up. Insurance is going up, home, autos. So listen, yes, that's not noise, and that's also it's also an indicator of how people are feeling, and it's not an indicator of mismanaging finances. Sometimes the decision there is to you have to adjust, and it may not be self-destruction. It could just be those are the externalities that are going on. What are we going to do? Are we going to survive on one income so people can watch the kids? Because kids costs right now are very high. What is that? Child daycare and all that. Those are equivalent rents and mortgages in some cities.
Right.
So that means somebody has to stay home, perhaps. So definitely not noise there. There's a lot more. That's a short list, but all those are real and affecting people.
There are decisions that are being made, and they're going to keep being made because there's no quick fix to the situation we're in right now. What about this one? Once you're earning more, the psychological stuff works itself out. So once I have more money, I'm good, right? Mentally, I'm good. We'll figure it out.
You know what? I know what you want me to say here, Story, because me and you are we friends, so I already know. This in one sense, it could be, more money is not going to solve the problems, and they're not going to go away. But I'm gonna do a timeout. I'm gonna do a 20-second Pat Riley timeout real quick, and I'm gonna do a timeout and say what money does is it allows you to find the resources to quicken the pace of fixing or working through and getting resources in order to address what's going on. So I like to say wealth, whatever dollar amount that is to you, funds well-being. So you use your dollars, Story, to fund what you value most and what's going on with all your well-being elements. And there's several domains in the well-being elements. There's physical, there's mental, spiritual, relational, all this, right? So how are those dollars flowing into those areas? And no, the problems won't go away if there's no internal addressing first, because that's the key. Is where did the problem stem from and hasn't been addressed? If it's internal and there's no addressing, then no, all the money is going to do is magnify that John, right? Right? Yeah, I said John like you. I think that was Rocky VI with BP. Yeah. He said, "What's a John?" But so yes, if you haven't addressed it, then all that's going to do is magnify the shortcomings inside. However, if there is that courage step of what I just said earlier, say, okay, I'm having some sort of issue. Maybe it's a mental, maybe it's physical, maybe it's awareness or whatever it is inside that's puzzling you at the moment. Well, if you admit it, then you can use it. Now that's a value. That's a well-being, and that's a value. Like I say, life and money alignment gives you money assignments. Now you have something that you can assign your dollars to. So although if you don't have that self-awareness and self-reflection step first, then no, money is not going to solve those problems. However, if you say, you know what, if I had a few more dollars, I can get some help, or I can, pay down this, or I can invest in this, or I can do that. Because why? Because you've identified the value, you've identified the well-being domain first, you've reflective of self first. And now life and money alignment gives money assignment. Now you can go assign those dollars to that. And at the end of the day, I'd rather have money in my pocket solving a problem than no money, and that's real talk.
It is. I mean, let's be real. Having more money, it's going to help you, right? We'd all rather have more than less. But I think the way you spun that, not even spun it, you just went a different route than what people are thinking, right? Most people are going to say, oh, yeah, more money, more problems. Like that's what was coming out. But it's not the truth per se. And I think it's what you hit is knowing who you are, right? We're doing this work. No matter what we do and what we say and our roles, our jobs, and what we speak, that part, you do that part, then I can say we can work on anything else, right? We can figure it out. But if that's not aligned, there's nothing me and you could say. No matter how much education or things we can put at you, if that work isn't done, something will crumble. It will crumble. You will revert back to old ways. You'll do something. And so I love how you went with that. And yeah, you're right. I mean, I teed that one up, and you went a different route. I'm glad you did. This one's interesting because this one actually came from another one of our members with No BS Wealth in our collective, Tessa. She works with all the brain stuff. She's a brain woman. She does all the science and the testing. And this is one it'd be interesting for you to see how this correlates. The average American adult, I don't feel like an adult sometimes, I'm a child at heart, makes an estimated 35,000 decisions per day. 35,000 decisions, the average adult. Now we're talking about business owners here, right? So I think we're gonna be a little higher than 35. And it's confirmed through their research, through a lot of doctorate level people doing this, not me, that mentally exhausted people make measurably riskier and more impulsive financial decisions, and or are not able to avoid necessary decisions entirely. Like they can't do the avoidance of the decision. They will always make an inherently, usually poor decision, but more impulsive decision. When I lay that out to you, where's your mind go with that?
Yeah, that goes immediately right now because we're both business owners and we're both husbands and fathers. And what that goes to me, if I ain't had no sleep, then somebody if something comes up and I'm not going to make the best decision, perhaps because I'm lacking. And this is a human element, but business owners in particular, since we're talking about them, there's so many stresses. So if I haven't had any sleep or something like that, my decision making is not going to be good. And also, too, my judgment, my clarity, my how I work with folks. So my compatibility is going to be off. So the culture may be off. The energy is going to be off. And so what we're talking about here is capacity. We're talking about self healing, and dealing with the self. It's almost therapy of the self. It's taking a break, waking up with some sort of a regimen. How about not checking your phone? I'm when I check my phone every morning before, that's the first thing I do. It's not my day is terrible. However, I do see a difference to where when the first thing I do is I say good morning to my wife and son. I give some gratitude out loud. I do some stretching. I take a moment of some silence, some solitude. I to take a walk, perhaps. It's wherever that is and throughout your day. So it's about self. Or maybe writing in a few sentences in a journal. You have to sit there and write a whole book. I mean, literally three sentences is, you might have something that's heavy on the heart or heavy on the mind. It's like, man, get it out. So you don't have to, pull a Queen Latifah from way back in the day. She goes, take these Excedrin before you have to cuss a MF out. Right. So, so yeah, you want to settle yourself. You want to say out loud, particularly for business owners, you want to say, your entrepreneurship is very challenging sometimes. It's not always a flex. You say, oh, I don't have any bosses. Yeah, you do. They're called clients. Yeah, right. And then you also have your responsibilities, for your home and all that. So it is to that stat, that line is very relevant to capacity and what you need, how you need to handle or self-care in order to do the other care, for other folks in your business.
Now we're done with that segment. What's a good exercise to figure out your capacity, right? Like, you've been through it. I don't know if you've done one that written down or you have it, but we all think through it. Like, when did it occur to you that, like, oh, okay, my capacity's reached for a day. I got to figure out how to either expand my capacity or understand that I actually do have a capacity. Because, folks, we all have it. We all have certain brain energy. We only have so much capacity in a day. Don't care who you are, what you do. You have your own limit. But do you know, or have you thought through like how you figured out your capacity?
Well, this is one of those things, Stoy, that if you don't figure it out, it's going to be found. It's going to be figured out for you. If it's just real, that's just real, And I can say that from personal experience. I know you can as well. I'll give a personal story. Recently I decided to focus on my wealth management business and my speaking platform. Just a few short 6 months ago, I had those two items along with running a university financial planning program, to teaching and doing all type of professional, non-paid work, mentorship, writing in the media, all this other stuff. So, my plate was loaded, and for a number of years. So I like to tell the audience, I'm 47. When I started this phase of the journey, people say, well, man, Dr. Cherry, man, you somebody now. I'm like, well, it's been 10 years in the making, and maybe even longer than that, to be honest with you, probably 20 years. Right. And so my point is, 47 ain't 37. So when I had all that on my plate, then I was like, man, shoot, I just outworked this bad boy, and that's it. Because I had all that energy, man. I'm 47. It's not old, but what's the main? I ain't got no time for that. So what it did was, this is one of my Substacks. It's like I burned out. So when I said that, if you don't figure it out for yourself and do that processing and that audit, then it's going to be found out for you, because you're going to feel the weight of having too much on your plate, not having the direction that gives you fulfillment. It's something, and running your capacity low because it's split. Speaking of the Michael Jackson movie, I haven't seen it yet. I'm about to go. But the point about, but I know everything about Michael Jackson because I'm a big fan. But the whole point about it is uninterrupted time in order to work on something, right? Singularly, right? So when you do that, these are the outcomes. So you singularly work on yourself and your family. It's all in one. You work on that, and you work on one element. If it's what's your business, If you have a side hustle, that means your main hustle it ain't, it ain't as stable, right? So what is that one thing that you need to be focused on? Drill deep, not wide. Drill deep, not wide. So you can have the capacity to do business, make good decisions, be a leader in your family and your business, and not just rub the stub so low that you don't have your capacity is split so many different ways, Stoy, that you don't have enough capacity for any of the domains because it's so low.
And folks, as we wrap this thing up, the difference between, I guess just to say, the gap between knowledge and action. Most of us know what we need to be doing or should be doing or have an idea of it. And we know most likely what it's going to take to get it done. That gap that's stopping you right now from achieving whatever goal that may be is all mental. It is all a mindset shift. And a lot of that comes down to the fact that you are exhausted. You are tired. You are thinking, well, what if I just did this? But then you start scrolling. All of those things. That is the gap. The gap isn't typically you don't have enough knowledge and you don't know what to do. There's too much content and research out there that is very easy for you to get to. The gap is you. So take time now to dig deep. Go straight down. Don't go wide like Dr. Terry just said. Let's go deeper. Let's go down. Figure that out for yourself. And you don't have to do 37 to 47. I'm 37. He's 47. See how we're talking about this? It could switch quicker for you. It could be the next 6 to 9 months. But it does take that work, but it has to be singular. And I know this because I use it on my boys all the time. You got chores to do. Don't try to do them over the course of a day because you aren't going to get them all done. Then I'm going to have to yell at your ass. Let's focus and get them done in the 30 minutes because that's all they take. All right? I appreciate you, Dr. Cherry. And hey, everybody, he slightly put it in there. His Substack. Come on now.
Yeah, Substack. Got Substack, got the podcast on YouTube. Yep. Follow a brother. I really appreciate it.
Folks, I'm on Substack too, and there's only a few of them that I actually will comment to and use in both my own content and my own self. And Dr. Cherry's is definitely one of them. So make sure you check that out. We'll have all his links and everything as you know this. But he's getting back in the podcast, getting back in the booth, got everything running. Make sure you get at him.
The preceding program was sponsored by Black Mammoth. Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Black Mammoth. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Black Mammoth website, www.blackmammoth.com. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to effect or attempt to effect transactions and securities or the rendering of personalized investment advice due to various factors including changing market conditions. The information discussed in this broadcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up-to-date, Black Mammoth do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature and is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation. Past performance is not indicative of future results.